It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and this week's theme is called Lunar Roads, and this is my summit guide. Let's go! All right, real quick before we get into it, if you're looking for any of my Motorfest tunes, you can go to militiagamingco.com, click on Motorfest Pro Settings from the menu, and there you'll find all of my tunes completely up to date. And while you're there, you can check out the new merch. We just launched a bunch of merch. Check that out when you get a chance. We have one shirt that is going to be a supporter shirt for the upcoming tournament in February. If you haven't seen that, here is the video. It'll be linked in the description, and you can check all that stuff out on the website. All right, let's get into it. The Summit bundle for this week will give you the Koenigsegg Regera R and the KTM Expo GT2. Both cars are going to be decent in this Summit. Neither one of them actually does that bad, so you'll enjoy it. Anyways, the other vehicles that you're going to need are the Cento Dieci, the Hunatron e-tron, the Agera R, and then you're going to need a plane. I suggest the P51 Mustang with Score Breaker, with Pure and Skilled as your parts. And then a boat, I recommend the 1414 Demon with Score Breaker, with Pure and Skilled. For the boats though, you can use whatever you want as long as you have the Score Breaker set of parts with Skilled completely maxed out. And just to remind all of you new players, if there's anybody out there that doesn't know, you need to max your legend points as well. So go to legend points, put everything you have in the Skilled category. You're going to need that for your feats, and it will help, especially if you don't have the parts. And if you don't have any legendary parts, whatever the highest tier parts you have, make sure you change the affix so that they say Skilled, and you do it with the highest percentage. All right, the keys to this summit are definitely going to be the lines and the cuts. There's a bunch of corner cuts and a bunch of little tiny things that you need to do that all add up at the end of the race. So I'll go through that in just a moment. Here are the pro settings for all of the cars that I just mentioned. All right, the first event is called Wooden Snake, and for this one we have the lone vehicle. This is the M600, the Lunar Year Edition, the brand new car that we actually get to win in this week's summit, provided that you get platinum. This car actually feels really great to drive, by the way. We'll talk about that later once we get it next week. Anyways, this race has a few tips on it, or a few little tricks that you can use, so let's get to those. This corner at about 5%, you can take pretty fast. Just make sure you get in this gutter. You're gonna hit the fence a little bit, don't worry about that. Just get in the gutter and you can take it at a pretty decent speed. I missed the gutter. Let's move on. All right, after this bridge at about 13%, you can drift it. I kind of tapped the wall, which threw my line off a little, but it's pretty fast if you drift that. And then this one, you can also hit the gutter if you're going too fast. If you're not going fast enough, you just take it normally. This turn, I would strongly recommend trying to hit that gutter. The best way to take this is to go wide. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I stayed all the way to the right over here, and then I started turning in to take the corner. This gutter at 28% is extremely important. Let's see if I hit it. Barely. Now, throughout this section, after about 35%, this is a lot of like just straight, but not straight, but like high speed cornering. And you need to use NOS in order to keep your speed up, but I strongly recommend just tapping it. Notice I'm not letting that NOS get below half. I'm just tapping, tapping, tapping after all the turns, sometimes mid-turn. This turn, you got to get yourself in the gutter here. Make sure you don't go into the woods on the right. But everything else, you just want to tap. I really shouldn't have put my wheel in the dirt on that one either. All right, this turn at 65, I actually drifted. I found it to be a little bit faster, plus it kind of sets you up and puts you in the gutter for that turn. I don't know. That works for me. Maybe you should give it a try if you guys want to drift. It's handbrake and NOS at the exact same time while turning. So all three, turn, handbrake, NOS. I did the same thing on this turn up here, and I went across the grass a little bit. Kind of sets you up for this gutter. Even though it was a little bit rocky, I could have done it cleaner, but that's kind of the nature of drifting. It's a little unpredictable. Be patient with your NOS entering this tunnel. Make sure you blast it once you get to 6th. You want to definitely get yourself above 260, but you can even go faster. I think I had a little bit poor management there. All right, now see on the mini map, you can see we've got a bunch of S turns. There's 3 S turns in a row, or 3 switchbacks. These are very fast if you can take the gutter quickly. If you're very slow at gutters, you might want to think about resetting these. However, for me, I only reset the bottom one. I was having trouble getting the lines, and it was much more consistent for me just to reset it. So these first two, we just use the gutters. And then on this third one, I shot off to the left, used some NOS, and then reset once I got there. And that's it. All right, the next event is called Fireworks, and for this one, I do recommend the Agera R. Anyways, there's a few little things on this one that really make this track kind of a pleasure to drive. One of them is how flowy the track is, but let's get to the cuts. That's the most important part. All right, one of the things that I actually made a mistake on in this run is this turn that's coming up here. You can actually enter this turn with a lot of speed and hit the gutter and exit with a lot of speed. And I just missed it, which means I had to slow down a little bit, which really set me up poorly for the next straight. So it's just this domino effect when you miss one thing. So let me show you what happened. So I'm going in here, missed the gutter, had to slow down, actually put my wheels in the dirt there, which means I had to use a lot more NOS to get myself up to speed. Now, by this time, I'm doing 250, but I could have been doing 270 or 280 had I done that correctly. So you lose a lot of speed just with these one little, this one little mistake. Anyways, this turn coming up over here, I was slowing down. I also experimented with drifting it. Slowing down by far was the fastest method. Just slow down, take the corner normally. Now there's also, if you're having trouble with the gutters or you have trouble with this turn coming up over here, this one right here, if you have trouble like slowing down and hitting this gutter, then you can actually do something kind of crazy, which is you go straight past this checkpoint flag and then either hit this little barrier here to jump you over the ravine, or go straight towards the next checkpoint. You can kind of climb up the rocks and hit the checkpoint and reset. So it's up to you how you want to take it. I recommend this way. This is a little bit faster if you can get the braking zone correctly and make sure you hit that gutter when you come down. Now on this turn, you can actually cut it a little bit. I chose to use the gutter, but you can actually drift it or cut it on that corner. It's, either way, it's going to give you a decent time on all three options, but I just want to give you guys, options for what fits your driving style. Now, these turns going down the hill, absolutely, you need to be guttering. The Agera R is a very good guttering car. It's just turns so well, and hopefully I have a clean clip here because that'd be embarrassing. Like, the Agera R is so good at guttering, and then all of a sudden I'm not guttering. So anyways, another gutter turn here. It's very important. And another one here to keep the speed. I missed it again. So much to improve on this run. Anyways, let me fast forward. All right, this turn at 77%, I drifted, and I think I could have taken it slightly differently. If I was to go back and optimize, I may have just cut over earlier and taken a different angle. Then we have this turn at 91. You're going to cut the corner. Watch out for the cars. Stay on the road, and you're good to go. And this is the final straight, so blast your NOS when you get to 6th and 7th. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called Lai See, or Lai See. It's supposed to be a play on words, I think. Anyways, this one's using the Agera, and for this event, it's all about skill. Like, there's not really any tricks to this one. You just have to drive well. I would say let's watch my entire lap, and I'll try to give you some pointers. Like this first part, I slowed down to let them all crash and go crazy, and then I speed back up. I used Pierce to make this, after this turn, I used him to like get, slipstream basically off the AI. So that's another little tip, but for the most part, it's just making sure you hit your lines. Like this one here, you can do it at full speed. Braking zone here, just before the checkpoint flag. Always better to take that turn a little slower. If you try to go too fast, you're definitely going to hit the wall. You have to brake to about 150, 160 for that corner. Again, the braking zone here starts at about the second to last flag. Get back on the throttle as soon as you can, and this is where you really blast the NOS when you get to around 200 miles an hour. Just go crazy on it. So there's the lap. You just rinse and repeat that twice. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called Lights in the Sky, and for this one, I strongly recommend this car, the Hunatron, e-tron, Audi, Quattro, I don't know, it has a million names. This one. This event is a little bit tricky because there's lots of little corner hops and things that will throw you off your line, and it seems a little bit random as to when it happens. Like if you're a couple of inches this way or a couple of feet that way, you're gonna hit the curb a little bit different or a different angle and the car flies, or the front end comes up and you hit a wall. So you really have to be precise with this one. I'll show you my first full lap. But there is one trick here in the beginning that I recommend doing if you want to just shave a little bit of time. It's not going to shave a lot, but it's definitely going to shave a little bit. So start the race, go to this first corner, and just run into this truck that's on the left side. Just hit it and then press start and retry immediately. As soon as you hit it, start, retry. What this does is the next time you go through, the truck will not be there. It despawns the truck for a certain amount of time. And this allows you to get a much better angle on this corner and not have to worry about the rocks on the left side. And I tried to take it. All right, I hit the rocks on the left side. So I know that's funny, but it's because I tried to take it faster than I normally was. I was really pushing it for this one because I had a top 5 time and I wanted to get closer to that #1 spot. So I was really like pushing the limits of these corners. Anyways, I hit the rocks, still my best time. We go through this corner cut here, then NOS across the grass, and you want to aim for slightly to the right of this checkpoint flag. This area gets really bumpy and messed up, so do your best to try to control it. Start braking when you see the arrow and go left. You need to do heavy braking. This car does not slow down fast enough. After that little left hand cut, you're going to really blast NOS. Look at, I'm almost at 200 miles an hour, and then you'll cut directly across here. Now your visual cue on this is you want to go between this post of this little awning and the wall. Just be aiming for that. The second you get to this area, you need to start braking because you're going to be going too fast for that corner. So brake and cut across. Watch out for the boat. Keep in mind that boat's not going to be there in lap 2, so you'll be able to cut it a little bit tighter on this. Across, then you need to hit this gutter. The car does not turn very well. That gutter is crucial. When you get to this part, you need to drift it. Look how sideways I am at this point. Like, it's crazy. Because if you're not sideways when you go across those curbs, you're going to jump and fly into those houses. You got to get really sideways. Take this corner as sharp as you possibly can. NOS through. Avoid these curbs as much as possible. Slow down. Go through the parking lot normally. Just hit this one here. Stay tight to the building. See how much control you have there? So much better. Again, don't cut this corner. Don't cut it. If you get into the grass, it throws you off. You hit the wall. It's way faster just to stay on the sidewalks. Now, lap 2, same situation. Notice the truck is not there. On the other side, the boat's not going to be there. So if we fast forward, you go through here. Now your boat isn't there, so you can take it sort of free. You don't have to worry about hitting that boat. And I took it a little too fast. I was pushing it kind of hard. So that's the lap. Good luck. All right, the next event is called Road Sweeping, and for this one, I recommend using the Expo GT2. This one's kind of tricky. There's a bunch of little corner cuts and little tricks that I recommend. So let's go through my first lap. I drifted a little here, didn't mean to. You want to just try to stay as controlled as possible across both of these corners. And I had a really poor, I just want to show you these mistakes because you can see my time is decent and I still have places where I can improve. Anyways, at right about this place where you have the plane, it's important for you to make sure you've got your wheels on this deck. If you go to the right too much, you're going to end up over here in this wall. If you go to the left too much, you're going to hit the plane. So just try your best to, cut across that deck right there. On this part, you're going to blast NOS in 4th. Try to get to 6th if you can. This is a intentional wall tap. Slows you down enough to take the corner. So it's a wall tap and a downshift to 3rd. On this part here, upshift to 5th, half throttle across that section. Can't tell you how important that is. If you go full throttle across that section, or if you're in the wrong gear, like 4th, the car is going to try to spin on you. So half throttle across there, then you can get back to full throttle, cut across here, and get to the checkpoint and reset. Cut on the right, cut it back left. It is possible to hit this staircase. I did it in one of my attempts. Be careful. Aside from that, that's your lap. Let's move on. All right, the last event is called Scare the Beast Away, and this one is again with the GT2 Expo. I'm going to show you my second lap on this. It was a little bit cleaner, and there's a couple of things that I didn't do so well in the first lap. So anyways, here we are. So second lap, you're going through, downshift, get into this corner. And then for this corner, it's a 4th gear turn. Try to get as close to the building as possible. The car settles down a lot when you hit that curb correctly. If not, you'll end up in the wall over there. Little bit of NOS, not too much on this straight. You don't want to use too much. And then this right-hand corner is a drift corner. I did it a little bit slow. I think it could be faster, but I was a little worried in running into the wall. Cut this corner like really close to the tree. I don't know why I waited so long to turn. You can cut it really close to the tree. Just watch out for the building and that like ice cream truck thing. This part you're gonna blast NOS, get up to full speed. And then this corner you can take really fast if you cut it inside. Just watch out for this brick wall here. I did it in 5th. The car settles down pretty nicely. So blast NOS here again. Cut left and reset at the checkpoint. Not too bad. Go left here. Wide of the checkpoint. And then cut back right close to the building if you can. And then this left-hander up here, you're going to actually cut the corner. I did it kind of weird, actually. I think I took it way too far right. You can cut it a lot tighter than that. And NOS to the finish. All right. Let's get to the feats. All right, here are my 3 feats. These ones are pretty brain dead this week, except for the escape. The escape is a little challenging, but once you get a decent run, it's so easy to get full score on this. It's just not one I recommend grinding. You only have to get about 3,000 to 4,000 feet and you'll get a decent score. The other 2 are really just dependent on your parts, but these are the 3 feats. I'll let them play out and then we'll be back with the final scores. All right, here are my final scores. If you guys have any questions, you can send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. Don't message me on Twitter or X because I will not see it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope this helps. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out. Bye.